morning and welcome back to Lahore, Pakistan's second largest city. In this video I'm going to be doing a tour of Old Lahore, which is known as the walled city. Behind this gate, BHATI gate, where I'm going to be starting, one of the 6 remaining gates existing today. Lots of people interested, and this whole area is echoing with history. What I'm going to do is grab a tuk-tuk and start at one of the most famous places, Lahore Fort, and work my way through the walled city from there. In we go into the walled city. Really bumpy, so I'm finding it hard to get a lot of shots of the city as we go by. However, it is mesmerizing what I can see from the edges of this rickshaw, and for sure taking a rickshaw from BHATI Gate to Lahore Fort or somewhere in the middle of the walled city will give you a cracking journey of markets, bazaars, posters, people, very high buildings and narrow streets, and everything you can imagine about what Old Lahore might be like, you'll find it here. So I'm now here by the entrance to the Lahore Fort. To get here, it's actually a little trickier than you think. My rickshaw driver dropped me off the complete other side, and you have to walk around through an entire garden to actually reach the entrance. I'm showing the garden here in this shot. 500 Pakistani rupees to enter. I'm now vlogging without a tripod, so sorry if it's a little shaky. You're not allowed to bring a tripod in, so the security guy has just taken it and there's nowhere to deposit it in any lockers. Hey. So he's just got it in his hands until I come out. The Lahore Fort is a one-of-a-kind Mughal structure built in the 11th century and features palaces, halls, gardens and also mosques. And beyond anything, it's just a nice place to stroll around and of course meet friendly Pakistanis. From this side of the fort here you can see the historic core of Lahore, which is the most densely populated part of the city, i.e. the walled city. Years and years of history stacked on top of each other. Narrow streets, buzzing bazaars, and I'll be getting to that all a bit later on. However, after this fort, I'm moving on in this direction. You may be able to see the Minar in the distance of the Badshahi Mosque. Shoes are off and I'm now inside the Badshahi Mosque, one of the most famous mosques in the whole world. Check out how incredible it is. Mughal design, built under the famous Emperor Aurangzeb, son of Shah Jahan, and one cannot deny the similarities between Delhi and Lahore. You have the Red Fort and then the JAMA Masjid in Old Delhi, and here in Old Lahore, Lahore Fort and the Badshahi Mosque. The similarities between this mosque and the JAMA Masjid in Delhi are uncanny, and likewise for the Red Fort's interior and gardens. All under the same history as part of the Mughal Empire. There are a lot of similarities, as much as you Pakistanis and Indians might not want to admit, or maybe are not too ashamed to admit, but you guys do have a lot in common. Funnily enough, the JAMA Masjid in Delhi was one of my favourite buildings I'd ever visited in my life, and now the Lahore Badshahi Mosque joins that list, as it is just so similar. And in fact, I might even prefer it just because it's a little more quiet. Which university are you from?
So we are from Comsets University.
Okay, in Lahore.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are from
Okay, cool.
Okay. So
Nice.
we are just here enjoying the place, whole Lahore,
Yeah.
whole city of Lahore.
Who are you supporting for PSL?
Yeah, Lahore club.
Oh, Peshawar, not Lahore.
No, no.
You're from Peshawar.
No, I'm from small village near Sargonda.
Okay.
So who are you supporting?
Lahore.
Lahore. That's good. That's good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
We will hit you up, subscribe.
Okay. What I love so much about Mughal design is that everything always appears to fit into a picture frame. As you turn around, upon exiting the Badshahi Mosque, you will see a Gurudwara. That's a Sikh temple for those of you who don't know. You can visit it as well, and I highly recommend that you do so if you've never been to a Sikh temple before. Hey, it's now the next day. After visiting the Badshahi Mosque, which is behind me, yesterday, I moved on to the Gurudwara temple, which I pointed out. However, it was prayer time and I wasn't able to go inside. I was already feeling quite tired, so I decided to come back and continue this video today. And I just went inside the Gurudwara temple. You have to leave your passport at the front. The security guard will keep it, and a guy will walk you around and talk you through some different information regarding the temple.
Feet cleansing area.
Yeah.
Okay. This water is feet cleaning use.
There's also a Hindu temple on site here, and as you can see, it's also very old. Both the Sikh and Hindu temples are protected, I think for obvious reasons. It's interesting to walk around the Gurudwara and see an example of that here in Pakistan. Even though Pakistan is an Islamic country, there are very small minorities of Hindus and Sikhs still living within the country. And is also an example of Lahore's history, as Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims also used to live here, a much higher proportion before Pakistan became an independent state. Having visited the Gurudwara, I'm now here inside the park area, which you need to walk through in order to enter the Lahore Fort, the Badshahi Mosque and the Gurudwara temple. It also houses the MINAR-E-PAKISTAN, which is just behind me. It's to represent the site where the All India Muslim League passed the Lahore Resolution on the 23rd of March 1940. First call for a separate independent homeland for the Muslims of British India, and led to the emergence of Pakistan as an independent state in 1947. So I finished showing you all of the attractions in this whole area here. Now I'm about to head into the real dense and narrow streets of Old Lahore, near where I started this video. I jumped in a rickshaw from the park area to reach the next place I wanted to visit in Old Lahore, and very quickly during the journey I got out of my rickshaw, and the reason why is because of the traffic. It's just at a standstill. Look at this here, it's all held up. On top of that, some of the bumpiest roads I've ever experienced as we first came into this walled city area from the park. And look at it in front of me now. I would have been sitting in a rickshaw waiting for ages otherwise, so may as well just walk. You can see this is the most densely populated part of the city. Gonna cross the road here. Right in the middle of the traffic. You may as well walk in Old Lahore, otherwise you have no chance. This is a seriously unique place. Look how narrow this alleyway is here. This is a place to be experienced, and by foot is probably a good way to do it, although it's a little intense. Trying to get out of the road. Looks a lot quieter here. I now have a bit of breathing space, far less traffic on this road, just motorbikes. A couple more minutes walk down here to reach one of the most famous mosques inside the walled city, the MASJID Wazir Khan. Look how the old buildings tower on either side of the street while life goes on. Hi. You can see the MASJID Wazir Khan there, deep in the walled city. You can see the detailed colours on the Wazir Khan. Believe it or not, the Wazir Khan is also a Mughal mosque, despite its colours, which contrast a lot with the Badshahi mosque, and that sort of gives it a sense of uniqueness. And in fact, it was built during the reign of Shah Jahan, the man who is responsible for so many incredible buildings in this part of the world. This is such a historical part of Lahore. Here is the entrance to the Wazir Khan. Yes, yes. Can you speak English? Cricket? You like cricket? Yeah?
Yes.
What's your name?
Abdurrahman Faizan.
Abdurrahman Faizan. Okay, I'm Jason. Nice to meet you. One at a time. Incredible place to step out to the sound of that call for prayer. Sitting here inside the mosque now, and it is so peaceful and quiet. It is a Friday today, which means that locally people are not working. Government officials and everybody else, they take their holidays on Sundays. But generally, in a lot of Muslim countries, Friday is the day where most locals will visit the mosque. And that's why the streets are actually a lot quieter, the ones I just walked down, than they normally are. They're quite empty, in fact. Even though they may seem busy, they're not necessarily as busy as their potential. And I just had 20 plus guys all coming up to me, so interested, talking about my experiences in India, saying they like India, and I'm constantly just getting really good vibes from the people. If you're in the Old Lahore area, just come inside this mosque for a break and you'll find the peace and tranquility that I've managed to get here, surrounded by this incredible history, buildings overhanging from Old Lahore, rubbing shoulders with the outside edges of the mosque. So I've just finished looking around inside the Masjid Wazir Khan, and I'm going to end the video here. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
So, I hope this video gave you a good idea of some of the things you can see in Old Lahore inside the walled city. I didn't nearly cover all of the things that I wanted to in terms of the bazaars and streets, and you got glimpses of it, because otherwise this video is going to be too long. It's also a Friday today, and so the markets were not as good as they could have been. This guy wants some attention. And so I'm going to leave it here for now. So goodbye, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.